Good.
This is Anderson Penn's podcast, episode 121 for Tuesday, September 16th, 2014. This is Brian.
This is Lisa,
This is the Anderson Penn's radio network.
where if you can ink it up, we're going to talk about it.
And tonight we have a very special guest host,
Cool.
none other than good friend Hugh Scher. Everybody, welcome Hugh.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Like that cat did it. Thank you so much. This is just so exciting. I cannot tell you.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I've just been thinking about this ever since we talked about it, and it has just preoccupied every thought. I was useless at work today. Just here we are. I love it. This is just phenomenal.
Cool.
All right, so let me just throw a few statistics out here that if Lisa didn't already blow them in the green room. Your last visit here was episode 63.
Yes.
On August 6, 2013.
Yes.
And your last appearance is the 7th most watched podcast of all time.
Really?
Look at you. I think we need a Hugh fan club.
That's fantastic.
Now, most of those were Carol checking it out.
Yeah, you wouldn't believe it. There was like actually 8 views on that one. So.
You can tell by the IP address that we're actually watching my own podcast, right?
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
No,
that's phenomenal.
We always have a good time with you.
It's fun.
Yeah. All right. So what do we have on tap for today?
Well, we have a new guest host challenge, if it were.
Yes. Yes.
And what are we calling this? This is is going to be the new standard for all guest hosts.
Yeah.
This is tough.
Yeah, this is tough. In order to be on the podcast,
right,
you have to pass the high school hair challenge.
Right. Ice bucket thing. No, it doesn't even compare.
So, and essentially what that is, you need to send a picture of yourself in high school, and he was gracious enough to do this, brave enough to do this.
Here we go.
Let me share my screen here for a second. And this, I'm telling you, this, there are no words.
Here it is. There it is.
That is some hair.
Okay.
I'm digging the suit. It's like, was it a full suit or was it a sport coat?
I have gym shorts on underneath the shirt, tie, and the jacket. It's all. No, it's just a jacket. And
okay,
I remember.
Now it looks like maybe in the pocket area, are there actually pens in there, or is that stitching?
I'm going to go with pens.
Okay.
I'll take pens for 300.
Yeah. I think that's the stitching. Actually, it was a brown. It was a brown stitching in the jacket, and I hated getting dressed in this thing. It came off 4 nanoseconds after the picture was like, I heard the click. Okay, that's it. It's off.
You were already unbuttoning the jacket right here. That's why you're smiling.
Yeah.
But look at that smile. That's
now, the smile is the same. I'm still stuck on the hair. That's one heck of a side part.
It is.
It's like a comb over almost.
So let's just go full bore. This is 1976.
Okay.
And Welcome Back, Kotter was big show. And I picked up somehow people saying, "Hey, you look just like Vinnie Barbarino," and I'd say, "What? Where?" And so I just kept it going like that, and it was interesting. My grandfather, very close to my grandfather, he always said, "You should comb your hair back in a pompadour," like he did. And in all growing up, it was parted like that. And now, of course, when you have these are called scoops. Thank you very much.
Is that what they're called? I'm getting to know them.
Yeah. We're brothers from another mother, I swear to God. And so that was high school in Skokie, Illinois in 1976. And yeah, that was that. So if for the future guest hosts, and I hope the chat room is all abuzz about this right now.
They're buzzing.
You got it. You can't be guest host unless you bring your high school hair picture.
You got to step up. Now, I was mentioning before the show that one of my best, actually the only one of the few pictures I can remember taking happened right after, of all things, Math League. I got back from a whole day. I mean, that's the nerdiest of the nerdiest, right? You go and you talk and you take math tests all day long. You come back and then they tell you, oh yeah, by the way, today it's school picture day.
Great. Your eyes
like
are
a
like
Math League T-shirt.
No, I had a it was like a red and brown checkered dress shirt. It wasn't too bad, but.
Okay.
nice, very nice.
Somewhere on Facebook, there's a picture of me with blonde hair, so with the Farrah Fawcett kind of wings. Yeah,
It's amazing how you can dye red hair to be blonde. That's just really impressive.
Yeah, the other way around there.
Anyway.
So yeah, that's a serious challenge. That's like a throwdown.
Listen, you guys always set the bar no matter what. Product, service, personality, show appearances. Now we're going to hair. It's just a natural thing. It's like dots. We just connect the dots. That's it.
There you go. All right.
All right. So there we are.
All right. What's next?
Where do you go from that? I don't know.
I don't know. You
That's
know, we've sort of discussed what we want to talk about tonight, and we really haven't had any format for it. So
yeah. The promo I thought was funny with your official survey written in Sharpie. Yeah.
There were.
That was great.
This 100% said yes. If we can ink it, they're talking about it.
All right.
So ink it up.
What else? What else did you do, or what do you remember about the DC Pen Show? I mean, you go to several, mostly on the East Coast, but that is by far the biggest, right? For you?
Well, we do two. We go to two. We go to Baltimore. We see you guys in March at Bert's show there, and then we go to Bob's show, the DC show, in August. We do them every year and have been for the last 4. I think this year was our 4th, if I'm not mistaken. And it's just it's too convenient because we live like halfway between them both. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you didn't you go to Philly this year or no?
No, we didn't do Philly.
Okay, I don't know why you were there in spirit.
We were talking about possibly being able
maybe.
to get you guys there, but we couldn't pull it off.
Okay.
Did you go last year? I thought we saw you 3 times in 1 year.
Never been to Philly. Maybe it was because we came to the store.
That and we met you for lunch with the trailer. And yeah.
The trailer,
that was it. Yeah.
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
So what did you end up with? You know, we always talk about what we got at the show. What else did you score at the show?
Okay. I have to tell you something. Brian, now Lisa, you played this very straight, but Brian, you're the best pusher man when it comes to my most memorable moment of the DC show this year was 38 seconds into saying hi, getting my Lisa hug. I buy this gorgeous pen. This is my best new purchase pen. This is the Anderson Pens limited edition Delta Unica in the most gorgeous, you want to eat it, looks like candy, red I've ever seen. But it's a wonderful pen. I'll talk real quick about it in a second. But hi, how are you? Hugs, hey. Brian goes, hey dude, have you seen this thing?
I can't help it. I'm just, you know, I'm not trying to really push it. I'm so excited.
No, I love you for it.
Especially this year, we had the 2 pens that were the limited edition and the special edition from Franklin Christoph, and I'm just so excited I want to show them to everybody. And that's kind of.
We can't help it. You have no willpower.
Well.
I sent him a text the day before, and I showed him the picture, and he's like,
"You did. You sent me this picture the night before," and I'm looking at this thinking, "Is she gonna let me buy that pen?"
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
thank goodness she was standing next to me when this was going on, because we were all saying hello in front of your booth and the tables, and then this comes into play, and fortunately she goes, "Oh wow, look at that."
And we know you like red.
Yeah, right. I'm in. Right. So I just let Brian dole it out, and like, well, Carol, what do you think? I really like. You should buy that. Okay.
Well, and it's the most affordable limited edition.
Incredible.
Anywhere. I mean,
and there's only 50 of them.
50.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have number 15. And I got to tell you, I have used this pen in my rotation for the last 2 weeks straight. I just carry this all day at work. Got the quiver, and this is in it. I've gotten more compliments on that pen because I just can't put it down. I'm taking more notes because of that pen.
and to think mine's been sitting on the kitchen table for about 2 weeks. Number 1, and it's uninked. So
the number 1 this is for the number 15.
Mm-hmm.
This is for the number 1. So if you're not using it, no, seriously, we love the Delta products, and buying them from you just makes it all that much more special. This nib, out of the box, just incredible. Just the way I like it, probably like a 6 or a 7 wetness, smooth like there's no tomorrow, and it's just gorgeous. It's an eye catcher.
And what ink do you have in it?
Well, you can't put anything else. You have a color conundrum going on here.
You do.
Yeah, so there's only 2 colors that work: diamine oxblood. Okay. And then you can put Waterman Mysterious Blue, because it's got blue flakes in it. And then if you just want to break stride, put whatever you want. You could put.
Well, what is Dave? Dave uses his all the time. Dave's got one at the store, and he does he have oxblood, or does he have Red Dragon or something in it?
I think he did some samples. I think he was trying to figure out which was the closest.
I can't remember. For me, there'd only be one choice. Of course, it would have to be Montblancbordeaux. So.
Of course. Well, that would look good in there.
Although you're running low.
Well, I have a full bottle here.
Okay.
And I think I have half of a bottle left. So I have 1.5 bottles left.
Well, and our Montblanc rep is going to give you a bottle.
Oh, he's going to make me pay for that. You don't think I'm getting that for free, do you?
No, we'll give him some of the displays back. He'll give you a bottle. It'll work out.
It was only like half a bottle, too. So.
Yeah, but I think it's one of those things you just kind of put feelers out. I'm always looking for Montblancbordeaux, the old style kind of thing.
Yeah.
Now, Hugh, what else did you pick up at the show? Did you get any other pens, or did you get any? You got some stuff modified?
I got to tell you this too. This was unbelievable. We know and we love Mike Masuyama and his wife Amiko.
Absolutely.
Just the most phenomenal people, right? So I had written Mike and Amiko a letter 2 months before the show, just to say, hey, we're looking forward to seeing you. Travel safe. I've got 6 or 7 pens I'd like you to look at, and she wrote me an email back, said, hey, you're on the list. We're looking forward to seeing you. So I had gotten 3 Schaefer Balance 350s. The Tiger Eye may not be showing up real well, but Tiger Eye, that were just trashed at an antique mall. And I restored all 3 of them, and they were nice writers. And, beautiful, love the Tiger Eye. So I brought 2 of them, and I asked Mike, look at the nibs, tell me what you think. I don't have a Mike Masuyama custom grind. I have a number of pens that you've tuned for me, but no custom grind. This is actually, and I'm sure this won't show up, but this is actually now a needlepoint.
Oh, nice.
Mike said, I can make that into a needlepoint. I said, I don't have one. He said, can you write very lightly because it's different? I said, I'm going to give it my best shot. This needlepoint, and I, as you know, and I've mentioned this before, I like to practice my penmanship. This needlepoint brings me to my knees. It shows.
I would think so. So it's like an extra.
Oh.
Extra. We don't have enough extras. Fine.
There is like 4 9s extra here. It is unbelievably sharp, but it doesn't grab the paper. And I'm just using, Rhodia dot pad, that kind of stuff. Doesn't grab the paper. Doesn't scratch. It's smooth. but you know you're writing on a very, very pointy surface. But I'll tell you what, if you want to find out how smooth you can make your lines, this pen will speak to you, and it has no mercy.
Oh my! So actually, what we could do is that pen also doubles as Eddie G's dart for his dart. Eddie G is not with us this evening because he is doing some dart work. So.
Okay.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he sent me an email. He says, "I'm sorry I can't be in the chat tonight. I'm doing some."
Well, wasn't he a competitive dart player for a while, Eddie G?
Eddie G is a competitive dart player. Yeah. You met Eddie G, didn't you?
I have not ever met that man.
You've not met Eddie G? Oh.
No.
Oh man, that would be one fun.
That would be fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Eddie's how do we describe Eddie? Eddie and his wife, they're fantastic people.
Eddie's awesome.
He's awesome. He's a big car guy.
Oh.
Yep.
He used to
be in men's. Actually, he could tell you all about that leisure jacket that you had because
he might be able to top the high school hair challenge.
Yep.
So, well, two things. One, I am actually trying to forget about the jacket. So
But he sold men's suits for like 25 years.
Oh, okay. All right.
High-end men's suits, and when we sat with he and his wife Marianne in L.A. This is part of why we love shows. You learn all these little things about people that you'd never know. But yeah, he spent like half his life selling high-end men's suits. So he was talking about, not Armani, but some of the higher-end men's stuff back 30, 40 years ago. It was very cool.
Huh. Well, it's good to know these things.
So.
Yep.
Anyway, I was just thinking of that. You had a needlepoint and
yeah.
Anyway, so was that the only one that you got done in DC?
That was one of two. Mike turned the other one into a cursive italic for me. I haven't had a chance to actually write with that because I've been using the needlepoint and my Delta Unica almost exclusively. So it's going to have to wait. But I am going to write back to Mike. He tuned a few nibs for me while at the show, and so I'm going to use each of the pens like I do and just write he and Amico back and thank him for that.
Yeah, he's fantastic. I know I was having a nib tuned for Dave at the store.
Yeah.
And Dave had a Delta, and we were trying to get it a little bit wetter, and I signed up like at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And I didn't get to the table until 4 o'clock.
Yeah. Yeah, it's insane.
It's because Hugh was in front of you.
Yeah, I had 9.
and there were only, and I looked at the list, right, and there were only like 4 people in front of me.
Yeah.
It was crazy. It was like all day, so.
Yeah, you have to, and this is the thing that happens. So a little dirty laundry. Carol and I get into an argument before every show because I'm in show mode. I want to get there. I want to get there before people get there. I want to get there, right? And she's like, "Hey, no, you have to get up at 5 in the morning. We have to be on. It's a Saturday. No, it doesn't matter. We have to get on the road. We walk in, and I'm like going like this to get to the sign up.
She's got the leash.
She's got the leash.
Walk, don't run.
Right. It's like, come on. This is like here.
Now, so you've had a number of nibs tuned over the years, and we have Tim Girdler, another nibmeister, in the chat. So between the two of you, one talking, one writing, are there any tips or tricks for people who are going to a show to have nibs tuned? Like you said, Mike turned this into. Did you go deciding you wanted a needlepoint, or did you just say, this pen isn't writing the way I want to, what can we do? And he guides you?
Yeah.
And Tim, same thing for you.
So a couple things on that. And I'm sure Tim and I chatted at the show as well. We had a lot of conversation, but this is my M800 Tortoise Pelican. It's an extra fine, and here's a perfect example of what I learned talking with Mike when he did this one for me. I put my own ink in it, I write with it on my own paper, and then I wash the pen out and I bring the paper. And then he will say, show me how you write with it. And so, when you're at the show and there's a lot of people around, it's very distracting and you lose your frame of mind, and I found that my handwriting wasn't what it normally is. So I brought the handwriting sample like he suggested, and then you wash it out so that he doesn't get ink all over himself when he's trying to work on it. He always has ink there. So he'll fill it when he's ready, and then he'll have you write with it. But my tip would be kind of what I did. I thought worked real well. I had 3 pens that I wanted the nibs tuned. I brought my writing samples. They were empty and dry, and Mike just went right through them real quick. And then I wanted some Masayama love. I wanted some grinds, you know. And I got it. And here's what I did for that. This is I guess maybe another tip is I brought the pens, and I didn't tell him what I wanted. I asked him to look at the stock nib and tell me what he think it could become.
Okay.
All right. Because what I didn't want to do is say, oh, can you take this, you know, whatever kind of, maybe it's a fine, and make it into a stub, you know, he'd struggle. No, I said, you tell me what you think it could be, and then help me pick something I don't already have.
Okay.
And I think that worked very well for us both, and I got exactly what I was hoping for, something I didn't have before, and it writes just, it's just impeccable, and it's from 1930 something, you know, it's going to be around way longer than me, being enjoyed.
Now, what about the first time you ever had a nib tuned or ground or whatever? Was it intimidating?
I was scared. I almost wet myself. I almost had a So here's the thing.
So what's your suggestion for somebody listening or watching who may be going to Dallas or going to Columbus or any of the shows where there is a nibmeister?
Yeah.
How do you help somebody else get over that fear of I know my nib needs something, but what do I say? What do I do?
Yeah.
My handwriting sucks.
It's just not right.
Yeah. How do I get over that?
So that was me 3 or 4 years, I guess 4 years ago. At the DC show, the very first pen show I ever went to, and I'm sitting there at the table, and I simply said, I don't like the way it writes, and I don't know how to tell you what that means. And it was Richard, and he said, okay, well, let's talk about it. And so I dipped it. He said, dip it, write with it, and point out what you're not happy about. And it was too dry. It was it wouldn't sometimes, it had baby's bottom. I've come to learn what that is. So, you know, for those that don't, the tines actually form this shape so the ink doesn't get down to the surface, and you'll find that it won't start sometimes. And so it was a function of a conversation with somebody who, you know, you guys, all of them, you're all personalities. And so you're first thinking, I better not sound stupid when I do this, because there's 14 people hovering around and they're all experts, you know. But it was just a matter of being yourself and explaining in your own way what you don't like about it, because I learned it can be uber satisfying. You just have to give it a chance with somebody like Tim, other folks. Brian, you do this. You can make it a very satisfying writing experience. It's a conversation. And obviously you guys are real people, and, you know, there's no reason to fear meeting some folks like that.
You know, Tim makes an interesting comment in the chat with respect to what people want with their nibs. And he says some want their broad nib to be ground down to a fine italic, and there are much better things to do with that nib. Oh, yeah. I wonder how many people go in with a broad nib, and they're trying to do something that maybe it's just better for them to sell that pen and get a different one.
Right. I agree with what Tim's saying, and that's precisely why these two Schaefer Balance 350s, I think they were both on the fine side of medium. And I didn't want to tell Mike what I wanted them to become. I wanted him to say, and he took his loop out, he looked at them 2 or 3 times, he wrote with them. He said, I think this would make a good needlepoint. I said, I'd like to have one. Let's do that. What about the other one? He said, and I forget what he said, forgive me, but it was something about the way the nib, the tines were set up and tipped. He said, probably this thing could be a good cursive italic, and I forget what the other one was, but I immediately went to, I'd like to have a Masayama cursive italic. So, you know, you guys, Mike, others, Tim, you know, experts, take advantage of the advice and don't dictate what you want them to do with it. That's shoehorning, and You know, Tim makes a good point. Why waste all that tipping, all that nib to grind it all off? Sell it.
Right, and especially on a vintage pen, where broad nib is really the exception rather than the rule.
Absolutely.
You know, I mean, they're so hard to find a vintage broad nib, and then to take it and, you know, a Schaefer Balance 350s are common. I mean, you know, you can, or any balances for that matter, most of them. Leverfield balances, they're easy to come by, and you're going to spend $35, $40, $45 getting a nib ground, which is most of the way, you know, and if you're any good at repairing, resacking a pen yourself, you can buy a new pen with a fine nib for that.
Absolutely right.
You know, and you could sell the broad nib for, you know, almost twice as much. So.
Sure. Yeah. Sage advice. Yeah. And anybody who wants to have a really wide, you know, broad, extra broad or stub gold nib, let me just put this under the grinding wheel and collect the gold that comes off of that nib. Because if we get enough, I could ask Tim to melt it down, and we could make something special.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Just curious.
Yeah, it was a great show. It was so good to see you guys. We had a blast at dinner with you. That was just so much fun.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah. Yummy.
Yeah, we had the
weather cooperated.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we got some pen examination and writing samples done at the table. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Thanks for making time. That was good.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us. Let's see. We're headed to Dallas next week.
Next week, yeah. This time next week, Lisa will be freaking out.
Yeah, pretty much. Like we'll do the podcast. We'll try to keep it short because we're going to end up going back to the store to finish packing. Dallas is always a good show, though. It's small, but it's. I mean,
not even that small anymore.
Even in the 5 years or so since we've been going, it's really grown and certainly improved. Mm. And you can't beat those dumplings at the bar.
Oh man, I'm hungry for them already. I'm fasting.
Yeah. So, and the bartenders there, I can't remember their names, but they are so awesome.
Yeah, they're spunky. They're pretty spunky.
They are. They're feisty. I love it. But the Dallas show's a nice show. It's just.
Well, my camera's still on.
Funny.
Well, again, second year in a row, I have to tell you, green room, no snacks. None.
So you're supplying your own?
So lights are hot. I got a little ink sipping going. Well, okay, so let's talk about this just real quick. Now, last year we had, you know, Bay State Blue sippage going on.
Oh, yeah.
That was domestic. This year we're doing import.
Okay.
It's a little Edelstein amber, and it's very tasty. It's very tasty.
We do like the Germans, so.
Yeah.
We do. We also could, another time, food at 2711. Nice, Tim.
Yeah, who picked 27 minutes?
Yeah, you win. Maybe we'll test our own Anderson ink and see how that tastes.
We should, you know, that would be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So
maybe the washable so that it washes off my tongue.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah. But,
so Dallas next week. Excited about that. That's going to be fun.
Yeah, we see a couple people who we don't normally see at other shows. It's a decent drive, and you know, I love the people. I love the show. The drive, considering it's 1,100 miles, the drive really is not that bad. And then we stop at the Allen Outlet Mall, half an hour, 20 minutes above the show, and I get to get out and stretch.
Coach.
And the Coach store talks to me. Yeah. So I'm excited.
Although I don't think we've bought anything at the Coach store in 2 years.
No, but you know, my favorite story about that mall is when we went and we bought 2 pair of snow boots for you and a Christmas robe for your mom.
Yep.
And we didn't have, and it was on the way to the show, so we had no room in the car.
Wait, they have stuff like that in the Dallas?
Serious, yeah.
Seriously, we went to Skechers and Brian got 2 pair of like ankle-high boots with really good tread.
To shovel the snow, use a snowblower with, are from Dallas.
Yeah, and we went to Brooks Brothers and they had this really big, plush, comfy robe that we bought for Brian's mom for Christmas. Okay. So we did some of our Christmas shopping. So we drove to Dallas to buy Christmas presents and snow boots.
Makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
What else? What else do we got on the agenda? We'll talk more about Dallas next week.
Yep.
We came to see you at the store since I was on last. Because you have a store.
I know, and actually the store looks different even since you were there.
Really?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of. I think when you were there, Hugh, the one wall just had towers on it. Now we've got the two Parker counter cases.
Yeah.
Wow.
And we actually have at the end of the week we're going to have another case is being delivered, another counter. So
that's amazing.
I don't think we can fit any more in the store. So I'm going to take pictures next week.
I have to tell you guys, when we walked up to the front of the store from the outside, it felt like my first pen show experience. It was that.
You pee in your pants again?
Yeah, and the store is so warm and welcoming. It's just you walk in and you know you're in a special place. And I think you guys have just. I mean, Carol and I were just. We were just, you could have not even been there with us. We just kept doing this, looking around. It's just so wonderful, and all the stuff in there is just perfect. They've got the pens, the paper, the ink. The way it's laid out made perfect sense. It's just, if anybody gets a chance to be anywhere near there, it is worth 250-mile diversion in your day. Go see this.
Now, I can't remember, when did you... Dave was still there. We had brought Dave on.
Dave had been hired,
okay,
but it was during the weekend, so Dave was gone.
Okay, because I was going to say Dave does like all the displays pretty much.
Yeah.
He does a fantastic job of laying everything out. And
hats off.
But since you were there, we've gotten the 2 6-foot Parker cabinets, the counters. We've redone the paper in the back completely. So it makes a lot more sense. It's just better laid out. And was it Friday we get the second
Friday
counter?
we get the next counter, which we'll tease somebody with when we get it. Well,
where's Tracy when we need her?
Where's Tracy when we need her? Yeah, we'll that's all I don't think she's in the chat, so.
She's not. Yep, so we don't even know we know what it looks like, but we're not sure how big this thing is. It's somewhere between 3.5 and 6 feet long.
That's vaguely precise.
It was at the back of the warehouse, and they wanted it out, so.
Yeah. We're like, we'll take it. We'll find room.
Yeah, don't even measure it, just ship it.
Yeah, just ship it. Seriously, just ship it. And so that'll go next to, in the same vicinity as the Montblanc case. And so we're always moving things around. So next time you guys come up, it's going to be like a whole new store.
Well, and there will be a next time if you'll have us, and it would just be a treat.
Absolutely. And Greg's in the chat. Greg's been to the store, but I think it's probably changed even since Greg was there. So.
Yeah.
Well, we
mix it up.
Couldn't resist commemorating the event when we were there, and. Picked up this little Delta gem for Carol. This is the Julietta ballpoint.
Yep.
He loves this.
Awesome.
And was she surprised at dinner that night when we gave it to her?
So she didn't notice it? I mean, because didn't I
We were not that stealthy.
Well, when she stumbles for words like she did, then I know we've got her because she didn't know what to say. So. This is really thanks for showing this to her because she fell in love with that, and I could tell just by the vibe that this was something that she really wanted, and this commemorates our visit to your store the very first year you're there. So that's
it'd be a perfect match. You could get the fountain pen to match that one.
There is. It's a lever filler too.
It's a lever filler.
Let's do the drug deal right now. I know you guys do online orders. I know you do online orders, but do you do on-show orders? Because I got my wallet right here.
You have Apple Pay. We can just do it right
there. You go.
Yeah. So we had. Do we have a moment for a quick anecdotal story about visiting your store?
Sure.
Are you going to talk about the bad food or the?
No, hey, we were with you guys. The food was good.
We brought them to brunch at one of the supposedly the best spots in town, and apparently the silverware wasn't clean enough. We got the bad table, and we took them to one of the nicer dinner places. And I know it's nothing to do with us, but the service, what was it? We got the appetizers after dinner had arrived.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh,
and then they were going
God.
to take them away.
Oh yeah, you don't want this food. No.
Yeah,
No,
don't take the dinner away while we eat the appetizers. I mean,
Right.
you're just going to let it sit. So yeah, we felt bad.
Did we not laugh endlessly though?
Oh yeah.
And we found a new beer.
The Kona Brewing Company beer.
Yep.
That's perfect.
Big Wave.
Yeah.
Oh my God, good. If anybody likes beer, check out Kona Brewing Company, Big Wave, and
If anybody likes beer, well, you've just narrowed it down to 87% of the population.
well, there. Look, he's got.
It's only 700 of 746 beer.
So on our way back to Chicago, of course we drove. So on our way back, we did some antiquing and picked up a couple things.
What?
And so the first is, now I never find anything in antique stores. Carol does. I've not found. I mean, I find Schaefer Balance 350s and stuff, and it's nice. So I walk into this place, and I don't know where it was, Wisconsin, but it was there, and sitting on a shelf is this 1930s, maybe early 40s Schaefer jade mechanical pencil.
Nice.
Now,
Full size, looks like.
it was grunged. I disassembled this thing entirely, cleaned it, polished it, and it is a super nice writer. It's got the thick 0.9 millimeter lead, and it did not have an eraser under the cap. So,
Look at that.
can you see it?
Did you put that on the lathe and turn it?
Oh my God.
I sacrificed my pink pearl. I cut it out with an X-Acto knife, and then
Wow.
I sat here with a nib smoothing stick on the very coarse part, and I kept rotating it until I got it to fit. And it's like
They make meds for that OCD.
That's nice.
it
I
was,
like
That's-
it.
That's
Yeah.
huge.
yeah. And it's really nice, very pretty, and everything like that. And
All
then
right, so in the chat, how many of you have cut down your own erasers?
yeah,
Chime
there-
in now.
right.
Crickets.
So while that's going on,
Crickets.
Tim's going to have a good one, right? And here,
Yeah.
Wayne's going to have something nice to say, I'm sure. Wayne and Paul. I think Paul's going to win, though. So anyway, that was one of the two things we picked up.
Oh no.
The other one.
Oh my God.
So this is my haul. I got the jade mechanical Schaefer pencil, and we got the cheese hat. So there you go. I was thinking about wearing this at the DC show, and I could put 2 banners on it for parts I'm looking for.
There you go. Yeah.
People will find me.
Oh, they'll find you.
Oh yeah.
Well, we have a friend who does that. He wears a big tall hat with a big sign on it.
What he's looking for.
parts.
Nice. That's good. That's good.
So.
Well, and Ed Capizzi, who is organizing the Denver Pen Show, doesn't he have like a jester's hat that he sometimes wears?
Yeah,
Or
I
is
think
that
he
just
brought that to
To Columbus.
Columbus. Yeah.
Nice.
All
I'd
right.
expect to see Pendleton wearing something like that.
Pendleton's got some funky pants that he wears in a couple shows.
Yeah, his pants and his shirts are all.
Yeah. Luckily, he alternates. So it's like exotic pants one day and then exotic shirts the next. It's not usually both.
He's well coordinated.
He is. He is.
see,
How
what's
about next pens we plan to buy?
I
Because
was just gonna say that. What's gonna scratch that itch?
I'm gonna get mine tomorrow.
What is it?
Is it coming tomorrow?
What is it?
We got in the Sailor Sky. Only the pen.
But what you got to know about this is we got a bunch of them in.
Yeah.
A bunch.
Slims, full size.
Yep. Bunch of different nibs, but we did not get all of the order. And the pen that I had ordered for myself didn't arrive. So
but of course
Brian
mine
has had
did.
his. Brian's had his, and I haven't had mine. And so I keep looking at them, and almost every day I play with some of the others, thinking, well, I could probably live with this. So
Yeah.
my pen is coming tomorrow. So I'm
We're
excited.
sure about that.
Yes, according to tracking.
Okay, awesome.
I don't know what's in either box except that based on the purchase order number that's associated with the tracking, I know that is that's what's left on that order. So two Sailor Pro Gear Slims and medium fine are arriving tomorrow, and one is mine.
One is yours. Okay, what are you going to ink it with?
I didn't get that far.
Oh, come on.
Whoa.
I know what the logical choice is.
Penman Sapphire.
No.
No, I'm hoarding that stuff. No, probably either Oshkosh Denim or Sailor Blue.
If I had to do it all over again, I would do the Robin's Egg. I really like that. But I already had that in my Rialo, so I filled it in with a mystery ink yet to be named. So.
Oh, that's right. That should be coming this week.
So. Okay, so for you, this Pro Gear Slim Sky Medium Fine coming tomorrow. Hugh, what about you?
So I heard you guys carry Montblanc, and that 149 90th in a fine is got. It's calling me. It's calling me.
Did you see the picture of the nib?
I did. Thank you for
it's
sending
killer.
it. Again, Pusher Man. Thank you for sending it.
I'm just saying. There are a lot of pens out there, right? But that pen is only going to be around for who knows how long. And it's really Montblanc. It has people on both sides of the fence, right?
Yeah.
But boy, do they know how to make beautiful nibs.
Yes, they do.
They're just gorgeous. I can't stop looking at it. And
what?
It says, so it's got the big 90 on it, but the cool thing is, and apparently unintentional, according to Montblanc, upside down it reads 06, of course.
Yeah.
Which is the year the company was founded. So that's just.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Too cool.
Spooky.
So.
Yeah. Well, interesting. Something you taught me a day or two ago. We were talking about this product line, and I didn't know that in the non-90th anniversary, just the normal 149, you can get way more nib styles than a fine, medium, broad.
Yeah.
I had no idea about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they go up to oblique triple broad as a standard option.
Wow.
Which is called the snow shovel up here in Wisconsin.
I think the funny thing is the nibs are not marked. To the best of my knowledge, I mean, I've got a 149 here. I want to say this.
Would it be anything like that one?
As a matter of fact, it would be. Look at that. I want to say this is probably a double broad. It's so broad, it's got to be broader than a broad, but I don't know. I don't know that there's a head joke. I don't know if there's a way to tell.
It doesn't say.
But,
I don't see anything about it. But
beautiful stuff.
Carol bought this for me in 1987, and it is my cherished. But it does need a partner, because you'll notice that there's an empty right here. This is going to say Anderson Pens, and then this 149 will be rose gold 90th right here.
Well, now actually, you have two 149s.
Very good memory. Yes.
You have one from your uncle.
Yep, my Uncle Sandy gifted to me his retirement gift. I'm sitting there at breakfast Sunday morning. We spent the weekend with him in Cleveland, and the whole weekend we were talking about pens, and he's very interested in the subject, and he says, I want to give you something. And I'm thinking, it's just the furthest thing from my mind. He puts a Montblanc case on the table, and I opened it up, and there's a 149, dipped once, never inked, stickered, original documentation and case. And I looked up at him, and I started welling up. I was like, are you serious?
Did he know what it was?
Well, to him, it's a pen.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, he's in his 80s, utilitarian. You write with these things. He's a very modest guy. He's not into pens like we are, and he never wanted to use it. You know, they grew up with these fountain pens. It was not a big deal to them then, and he didn't graft, and you know, he writes with a ballpoint or a pencil, and that's it. He said it's just sitting here for the last 20 years.
So what year do you think it was made?
I'm gonna guess that if I think back to his career, this is probably in early 90s, 93, 94, somewhere in there. I could find out for sure, but he, just based on what I know of him, I think it was early to very 94 kind of vintage.
Wow, that's awesome.
But pristine, it's been in a box ever since. He dipped it once, went like this, that was it.
Yeah, see now, like the pens I get in those situations, they're like broken shaper desk pens with bent nibs.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys so thought they could.
Wearers or whatever, you know. Montblanc 149, that's just crazy.
Oh man.
Yeah, so if you got a third one, then you have a collection.
So very good point. So now here's further justification. Let me note that real quick because I'm gonna have to tell Carol. But so the capper on this was he gives me the bottle of ink that he had gotten with it.
Oh wow, cool.
And so my question is, and maybe the folks in the chat want to chime in, but certainly what do you have to say about it's still there, it hasn't dehydrated. What would I be wise or unwise to ink a Montblanc with ink from the early 1990s?
Ink from the 90s? Absolutely.
I have ink that's older than that, and I use it.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've used 1950 ink from the 50s, the 40s, you know, no problem, as long as there's no sediment at the bottom of the bottle.
Okay.
What was it, Montblanc ink too?
Montblanc bottle, yeah.
So the cool bottle.
That's it.
The old style, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I think
Nice.
the new bottle's cool too, but I like the parcel of the old ones for a while.
Yeah. I got the oyster gray in the new bottle, and that's very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
The new bottle's very, very blingy.
It does have some flash and some heft.
It's bigger than the old one.
Yeah. The
I
oyster
do like
gray.
the design of the cap.
Well, and you know you're paying for that, but when you get it, you're glad you did. You know?
Yeah.
Well, it's, you know, there are a lot of different interesting bottles. You know, Roshizuku makes a really cool bottle.
Sure.
You know, Sailor's bottle's okay. It's got the cool well in it, but Edelstein, Gruffon, Faber-Castell. But the Montblanc bottle, you know, as far as I'm concerned, you're paying a little bit for the bottle, and the Montblanc bottle is always so useful.
Yeah.
Because of the little, you know.
Right. Yeah, that thing they put in there. Yeah, it works well. The oyster gray I was very happy with. It's got nice lubricity. It's not dry. It's very smooth. It shades like wonderful in a broad, you know, stub kind of nib. But I was kind of, you know, do I want to use that ink that he gave me? So you think it's good?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean the inks that I have bottles of. I got a bottle of Montblanc Racing Green here. You know, I mean, I got Montblanc ink all over the place up here.
I've
Yeah.
probably got 30-year-old Parker Quink, and I don't know how old my Penman is, and
Yeah, I used to buy the stuff at antique stores, and as long as it didn't have anything in it, I just use it up.
Huh.
I was a poor college kid. I couldn't afford buying regular bottles of ink. You pay $4 for them at an antique store.
Well, you know, I've actually passed on a few of those that I've seen because I didn't think it would be healthy to put in a pen, but now I'll rethink that.
Yeah, don't pass. I wouldn't pass on them.
Huh.
Not at all. So.
All right.
there you go.
Would we ink the stickered 149 from the 90s? That's the real question. Of course, the sticker on the 149 is just a little thing like this, right? It's just got the nib size on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's always a tough one. In fact, I would never buy like if I had a choice between a stickered and a non-stickered pen, I'd always go with the non-stickered because for the most part, I use my pens, except for the wherevers.
Well,
Listen, you asked,
I mean,
I delivered, so that's all I got to say.
I know, but I don't like stickered pens because and I won't want to use them because they're pristine, and it's sort of like my little phobia. Here you go, John Nozel. My phobia of a brand new journal. I'm afraid to, mess it up, be the first one to use it. Now, give me a brand new car and I'll drive it off a lot, but that's a different story.
Yeah, notice you didn't say anything about paying for it first, but we'll just let that go.
We'll let that go. I don't know what I would do. I mean, if it was, if I had, if that was my situation and it was my dad's 149, family member, grandfather, whatever, I would, and I have that connection, I might ink it up. I might just say, go do it. Of course, your uncle never used it, so.
So we talked about this. This has been a year that you told me he wanted you to have it and enjoy it. Go ahead and ink it up because I asked you this a year ago.
Yeah.
I have not inked it up. but I know in my heart that I will because that's what he wanted, and he's still with us. And in fact, I'm going to go see him for a few days in November. I'm going to ink it at some point, but I know I will not take that sticker off, and I know I will not daily carry it, in rotation outside the house.
Right. Yeah. That would probably be how I would do it.
It'll just stay here, and I'll use it. But I have no interest in selling it. I'm gonna, it's a keepsake, but the sticker's going to stay on, and it's going to stay in a controlled environment.
Yeah. No, if it was.
Wait, what does that mean, controlled environment? You're not going to pass it around the office?
This space right here is oftentimes, can you just leave me work? Okay, just go. This is the controlled environment. But it'll just stay here. It'll be part of the penmanship practice. It's a fine, and the one that Carol bought me is a broadside of medium.
Okay.
So it is a different nib, and so I will use that fine for penmanship practice kind of stuff.
Yeah, if it wouldn't be a family, if that was my case, if it wasn't a family pen, I probably wouldn't ink it. I don't ink stickered pens.
Yeah.
In the collection, but in that case, like I have a desk set of my dad's that I don't think he ever used. A really interesting Schaefer set, but I inked it up. I said, "What the hell?"
Yeah. Because that's what we're all about. We ink it up. So yeah, I think I will, but I haven't done it yet. I'm getting closer to that edge. I will jump.
So,
maybe what you need is the proper ink sample to put in there.
Rumor has it you guys have your own line of ink now.
I know, and we get to see Lucas again in Dallas. We're excited.
Oh, he's going to be in Dallas. That's right.
Yeah, he's not sure, but he might come and hang with us.
Okay.
So ink samples, your stuff. I got to thank you again because our friend Ann in Chicago that I ordered the little collection of things, samples of ink colors and stuff. She loved it. And so that's a phenomenal thing that you do, where you'll package up stuff, send it out, and deliver it to a different place than me. She was so surprised.
Yeah, you watch what happens when you order that 149.
Yeah, well, that's coming right there.
It might end up here first.
No.
That would be okay. But that was a very fun thing because I'm going through your website picking sample, putting them in the cart, different things, some paper, some Amedex, different things.
Just in case.
I ordered the syringes that you guys have, and when we were there to see her after we had seen you guys, I showed her how to use a syringe to refill her, her plastic cartridges. So here we are sitting over her sink. We're working with these in the syringes, and she goes, I don't get it. The bottle goes in. How do you get the ink into this? I go, it's a syringe. She goes, I don't understand. And then once I showed her, it was like a kid in the candy store. He goes, all right, I got a whole box of these empty things. I'm going to fill them all up. I said, no, no, no. They're open. You can't do that. You have to wait till you use them. So anyway,
Who would have thought a syringe could be so much fun?
who needs the ink when you can play with the box, you know? This is
best
what it's
best $2 you ever spend, right?
That's right.
Exactly.
It was a lot of fun. She enjoyed it. Yeah.
So you're going to buy a Mont Blanc. Lisa's getting a Sailor.
Sailor. But maybe the Visconti.
Which Visconti? The Venus?
I really like the Van Gogh irises.
Okay, so you moved off the you were on the Venus for like 3 weeks.
I think the Venus is pretty. I don't know that I want the Venus. I don't do pink.
Okay, well
It's kind of pretty though.
All right.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have a toss up between that 90th anniversary 149 because it is limited.
We need more.
And the Visconti Divina in the new blue.
Oh.
It's something about that sterling strips that rotate around the barrel, and that blue marble. It's out of this world. I don't know if you saw it, Hugh. They were showing it off in D.C. at the Visconti table.
Yeah, I did. I went over there and saw McDougal. I can't think of his name.
David.
Yeah. He and Catherine had it there, and I was looking at it, and I thought, well, you're a softie for the blues. So,
I am a softie for the blues, yeah.
And this is me. This is I got. So I know what you're talking about. If it were that color red, I would probably be. Oh, yeah, right. See?
Blue, M600.
Yeah.
I got a Twisby 540 barrel in blue.
Just the barrel?
Just the barrel, yeah. I got a Delta journal in blue marble on my desk. So.
Yeah. Now my Anderson Pens limited edition Franklin Khrushchev 02, I think.
You got the 2, yeah.
Yeah, the 02 with the blue that you did on that one. Now that I really like that blue, the way that came out, and I got to see some of the stuff you were having worked on at the show there. Had some,
which actually is being boxed up as we speak.
Could even be on the way.
And it could be on the way, or it's leaving tomorrow morning.
So you got me with the picture of the blanks on the tray. Because I'm thinking, and I did one of these with it. I went, ooh, look at that. Zoom in. Yeah. That's very nice stuff.
It's a pretty pen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Scott does a great job. Scott,
yeah, and good people too.
Yeah. What I loved was the picture that Scott sent first of the shavings.
Yeah, he's just as much a tease as anybody else.
Yeah.
He sends me these pictures.
He knew we were waiting. And he knew that they had been delayed. I mean, they have just been slammed. They're such an awesome company, and their products are so amazing. They have been slammed. And so, of course, ours are in the rotation, but they have to fulfill their customer orders first. Yeah. And he knew that we have a waiting list for these pens. And so he's like, all right, you're on the lathe, we're ready. And then he just sends this picture of this mound of shavings, and it was so cool.
I just wanted to put my hand in the pile and just, I don't know. It's crazy. So anyway, that stuff's coming this week, and we're really excited about that.
Instead of saving wine corks in one of those super large goblets, you could have them send you some shavings, and you could just put them in there.
It might look cool in some glass jars in the window or something.
Listen. It's all about ideas, right? We're outside the box.
Yep. No, they're a great company, but he's a trip. They're really, he's sending teaser photos, and we of course can use them or not, but why not put that up? Because we get just as excited as customers do about watching the pens be made and all that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, they're swamped. I know. I have a call into him from a week and a half now, and I got an email back saying, "Hey, we're having record days. I'll return your call soon." So undoubtedly, they're scrambling to get your orders built and shipped. And
Yep. Yeah, and the music nibs and
those are huge.
Yeah, I'm trying to get more of those because I actually want one for myself, but we only have a couple, so.
Shoemaker's son. Yeah.
Shoemaker's son,
Right.
So anyway, what else we got going on? We're about an hour here.
We were going to do a quick, speaking of shavings, fixing some vintage stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
You want to? Did you get a chance to get that picture or no?
I did have this picture. So why don't we? I'm going to share this picture.
I'm just blown away. I think, Hugh, at some point in time, Brian is just going to leave Appleton for about a month.
Yeah.
He's going to go and hang out with Ron. He's going to go hang out with you. He's going to go. I don't know where. We're just going to send him all over the country to
I'm
pick
down
up
with that.
tips and tricks and stuff. While Dave and I get to unpack all the fun stuff. But it blows me away how I think we got our lathe before you.
You did.
Yeah,
About
ours
6
is still sitting in the basement,
In the exact same
collecting
spot
dust
from
in the
whence
same
I
spot.
dropped it.
Well, that sucker's heavy.
It is.
But you got a lathe,
I did.
and you started to turn barrels for some of your vintage pens.
Okay, I'm going to share the picture here, Hugh, and why don't you tell me what tell everybody what we're looking at here.
So what we're looking at is the early 1920s. There was a pen sold by the mailman door to door called a postal reservoir, and I have an affinity for these. I just love the style. I fall for the translucent barrels, and I've been fortunate to snag a bunch of them off of eBay. And the barrel is made out of celluloid, which shrinks over time. And when it shrinks, then you find different stress points in the celluloid, and it will then shatter. And that's what you see there is my collection of some that I've restored. That fissuring through the celluloid happened while it was in my hand.
Wow.
Huh.
I watched it go, and it just the heat of my hand, and it was ready, it was queued up, and poof. So I had never used a lathe before. You're not going to find a replacement barrel for a 1921 or 1922 postal reservoir. So we had some other things going on that we've talked about, and so we said, let's invest in a lathe. And so Tim, if he's still in the chat, Tim will remember we were talking to Tim at the DC show after I showed these to Ron, because Ron made me promise to bring them. And so what I had done is I went and bought a lathe and some tooling, and I recreated the barrel. And so what this is what's that?
There we go. I was just putting the focus on you there.
This is a bulb filler, so when you take off the blind cap, there's the sack, as you would find in most pens, but it's outside. And what I did, and I actually did two of them, because I had the one that you saw that had shattered, that one, and I had enough parts left over to make a second one. I just didn't have a barrel. And so what I did, this is my very first lathe project. I got some yellow, because it's about the color of that yellow, acrylic rod stock, and some taps and dies, and I made the internal and external threads after I turned this down and polished it, and the internal threads on the back, and I put all the parts left over together, and made a second one because I had enough parts for a second one, and hopefully that shows up somewhere nice on the screen, but that is
yeah, it's crazy.
Now maybe I'm just, I don't think of myself as not very courageous, but it just seems so intimidating. I mean, I'll jump in at all the wrong places, but it just seems to be really intimidating.
Well,
maybe it's just because I should not be around like big tools and mechanical kinds of things.
I'll tell you what.
Were you nervous the first time?
Yeah.
Did you just jump in and do it, and did it come out perfect the first time, or how many did you go through?
That's a great question. I made 6 before I made the first. The 7th was the first keeper, and the
Okay.
8 was the second keeper. A volume of resources online. Obviously, today's world, we can find information out about stuff. But I'll tell you where I learned the most. From people like your husband who answered questions for me.
Please.
And I talked with Brian. I talked with Ron Zorn. I talked with Richard through email, and Brian and I talked on the phone a little bit. I did the research on tooling, watched YouTube videos, just a lot of them. And I'll tell you, the first time I started, I bought the rod stock and I cut a piece on my circular saw and I, mounted it on the lathe and I thought, well, let's see where this goes, And now, admittedly, and we talked about it last time I was fortunate to be on the show, that I'm a certified Mr. Goodwrench, and so
that's true.
I know my way around automatic transmissions and tools and taps and dies and stuff, but I'd never used a lathe. But you know what? It all kind of applies. So I took my time and I figured out how sharp tools are the wrong way.
How many went flying across the room?
No, so, all right, I'll answer. None went flying across the room, but when you have your dust collection tube, that big vacuum thing sitting right next to the spinning material,
right?
And when you part that off, that piece, you cut it so that it falls away, you cannot have that vacuum collection running because it will suck that thing right out.
So you vacuumed up the part you just made?
It went, and I'm looking in the big plastic bag going, that's 3 pieces of a barrel that I just turned. So
that's a serious oh shit moment.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Did you say that?
I just did. Yeah.
Yeah, you did. Yeah. So what I learned from that was one of the many lessons. You first turn off the vacuum source. Then you slow down the lathe and part it off because you want it to fall in your hand, not get, vaporized into this machine. So, so you've been in my shop. You've seen our setup. When you
impressive.
Yeah, thank you very much. When you turn that thing on, I forget if we turned the vacuum source on, but you hear it. And it's a 650 cubic feet per minute thing, I think it is, and it pulls some air. And it just lifted that part. I mean, it was like watching a movie. It went, whoo, like that. It was gone. And so I shut everything off, and I let out one of those words you just used really loud. Carol comes running in. She thinks I hurt myself. And
I'm looking for chopped off.
And I got my hands, I've got my mean face on, and I got my hands on my hips, and I'm standing there looking at it. And she goes, what? So I told her what happened. She goes, you didn't think to turn it off first? Really?
No, apparently I didn't.
Wise beyond her years.
So I didn't. Nothing has flown across the room, but it did get lost in the vacuum. Went right in there.
Anything go up in flames?
That was my very first restoration project. It was. I was using a heat gun on a Waterman. It escapes me right now what it was, and it just went. It was. I was trying to get the section to come out, and it wouldn't, and I just kept thinking, well, if I warm it a little bit more, and then the whole thing just went like that.
But did it go up and it just melted?
It melted. It twisted.
No flame.
No flames, but it smoked like crazy.
I have to admit, one time I was doing. I was using a new heat gun. I was trying out a new heat gun, and
Yeah.
I had this. I think it was a Webster, and it was a really cool pen. It was striped green celluloid, and it's got a military style clip. It goes over, and I couldn't ever get the section off. So I'm heating it with this new heat gun, and it's getting hotter. And I try it, heat it up, and eventually, all of a sudden, I'm looking at it. And there's smoke coming out of the pen, and before I know it,
Yeah.
the thing is in flames in my hand. I've got a stick of dynamite here.
Yeah.
And I very calmly got up, walked around the desk, walked into the bathroom, stuck it under the faucet. But yeah, and here's the best part: the section never came off.
Oh, really?
I still have the pen. I have the parts. I can't get the section off.
Yeah. See, this is the thing. There's, they say don't use water. Use heat. Use a heat gun on a low setting, and then at the bottom of everything you read online, it says, but you're going to find out the hard way just how much heat you don't need.
Yeah.
And it's true. You just, it just happened. So that's when I swore off of the heat gun and went to water. I said, the heck with it, I'm using water.
Well, in my case, my mistake is this heat gun, because it was a new heat gun, and it was 2 speeds, on or off.
Right.
And it just wasn't appropriate. And now I have a heat gun that I can set. There's like 30 settings, but I use the second setting pretty much, and then that's it.
Well,
so.
It's the kind of thing that happens with me was I didn't know, and by the time I did know, it was too late, and this thing had just turned into a smoking pile of goo.
Yeah.
So I got the nib, I got the nib out, and it was a matching pen and pencil. So I sold the pencil on eBay or Pinterest, I think, and I have the nib. It's in a box. I'll find something to fit it to. But that was my first experience with. It didn't flame out, but I have a 52.5 V that flamed briefly when I was warming up that section.
Really? Holy cow! You got to heat up hard rubber quick to get.
It was and that was my second time with a heat gun, and I thought, well, I'm not doing this again.
Step away from the heat gun.
You got to, yeah. The trick is getting the right temperature setting, the right gun. I mean, you can get specialty heat guns. I actually have a standard Wagner.
Yeah.
But mine's got multiple settings.
Yeah,
I know the exact setting it
Yeah.
needs to be on after all these years. So.
And that's the thing, it's experience, and that's just how I've learned on the lathe. That's how I've learned doing, restoration stuff, and that's how I learn best is just by doing. You read, and you get to a point. Well, now I have to apply this, and then your barrel goes. Pew! I'm like, oh, great. What are you gonna do? Right?
Yeah. There's all sorts of different risks in repair. That's for sure. I mean, I've had situations where I had a pen that I've never seen this happen to another Esterbrook dollar pen. It crystallized. Now this wasn't $1.50 pens are made of a different material. They do crystallize. It's a standard copper Model B dollar pen, and I could see it was starting to get a little transparent. Well, I took the cap and I put it in the ultrasonic because I wanted it had some ink in it, and I'm heating up the barrel, and the barrel just shattered on the other side of the section, and at that moment, my brain is thinking, the cap looks just like that.
Oh.
And I looked in the ultrasonic, and there's about 50 pieces of this cap.
Oh no. No.
So the lesson there is inspect first before you.
Yeah. You ever get to a point where you just say, I'm turning the light off and I'm going
Yeah,
back.
absolutely.
Step away.
I find for me it works best if I start repairs early in the day if I can, when you're fresh. And if you get to a point where you're having a problem with something, you can't get something apart, just either move on to something else, find something easier,
or go have lunch.
Or go have lunch. Just you're done early that day because there's no sense in rushing it. If you break the pen, everything's done, right? So.
Right, and that's the rule in the shop. After 11 o'clock at night, no matter how late I'm up, I will not let myself go down in the shop because that's way too much horsepower and those tools are way too sharp. Don't do it. Don't do it.
So.
Cool. All right. Well, keep it up. We're expecting great things from postal pens.
Yeah.
I never knew about postal pens before. I mean, before yours, I guess I just never knew that the mailman used to sell pens door to door like Avon. Like, ding dong, here's your mail, and want to buy a pen?
And that's what happened. And there was some sort of a postcard thing where if you sent 5 of them in, you got a free pen out of it, and a different world back.
Hindsight, man, I'd have been sending those things in.
Oh my God, yeah. And the interesting thing about these, just a quick side note, is the consistency between the pens in terms of section diameter and nib size and flex, non-flex, and it's whatever goes. And so it's the hardest. I mean, literally, I have not found 2 pens with the exact same size section in terms of the inner diameter. The feed shape, there's always a little difference.
So does that make making the barrel tough? I mean, the thread size is the same, right? So we should be able to.
That was the same.
Yeah.
There was no problem with that.
But getting the nib and the feed to sit in the section.
Yeah, and you got to heat set every single one of them, and there's about 19 tries before you get it the way you want it. So, it's just. But for what it is, I really enjoy them. I like writing with them. I like that shape, that Art Deco 20s kind of squared off top, bottom. Really super. And then, of course, the transparent barrel just got me. So speaking of which, can we just look at that that transparent demo dollar? You don't have that one there, do you?
I do. It's in my case, though.
Okay, forget it.
It lives its life next to the other.
God, that's gorgeous. You had me. I was shouting on the chat that night. Stop it.
Yeah, I don't know. The last I heard, there were only 4 known to exist, and I don't think they were actually demonstrators in the sense that a salesman took them out to demonstrate them to a customer. I think they were actual shop demonstrators. They're so scarce. Francis Baboulian said who's where I bought mine from. Said there were 4 known. We had at the one point had 2 of them.
Okay.
Until we sold the last one about a year ago, but I don't know who has any others. So Francis may have counted the same 2 twice. I don't know.
You have one. That's all.
There may be one other one that we know of.
Yeah. I think I know where one is actually. Now that you mention it, yeah.
It's under my pillow.
That's an exclusive club, Roberta.
So, anyway.
All right, we should get moving on.
Let's
everybody up here.
Yeah, let's see what we got going on in the store real quick, and then we'll do some shout-outs and get our way.
The big Sailor Sky Pro Gear Slim, my pen baby, coming in tomorrow. I'm excited. You've had yours for like 2 weeks.
There we go.
Probably on Friday, the Sailor Mosaics will be in.
Those are stunning. I'm
Yes.
I'm surprised you didn't pick that as a next hot item.
Well, our anniversary's coming up.
Well, no, you used to have a mosaic.
I did. I had a number of sailors.
Which one did you have? And I know it's not the gray one because you think that's the most hideous.
I don't like the gray one. The black and pearl there. I had it was either the brown or the green.
Yeah, I don't think the pictures do them justice. I think
I can't wait for you to take the pictures of the pens in person because they are absolutely gorgeous. So
and they're 1911 large size, if I'm not mistaken. They're large size.
I'm not sure.
Yeah. Oh, I don't think they would put that on a standard size. I think those are 21 karat nibs.
So hopefully we'll have those on Friday. We've got a bunch of stuff coming in this week. I'm shocked. There are packages coming in every day. Big awesome stuff. And hopefully the new Franklin Christoph 03s are leaving either tonight or tomorrow.
Probably tomorrow, I would think. Yeah.
Now
exciting?
Well, it's exciting, but I think we also should point out that we are only getting half of our order. So put in a back in stock notice. These will be sold out before Dallas. So
we won't have them this week.
We will not have them in Dallas. I am 99% positive.
Yeah. So if you get the notification, you get the notification, go ahead and grab it right away. Otherwise, if it's not there, then notification in again because
it'll be another couple weeks.
Yeah, it doesn't save the notification once it sends it out. So
yeah. But oh my God, they're gorgeous in person. They are just to
it's going to be cool to have them all together. So Let's see. Since last week, we got new videos up on YouTube and on the blog. Videos for Schaefer 100. Our new series on my favorite pen, the Delta Dolce Vita. Lamy All-Star, and probably some other ones there's a bunch more that are coming up this week. So those, look forward to those. And we got some shout-outs this week.
We do. I wanted to send a belated, if you will, I said happy birthday on her birthday, but a belated birthday to our good friend Alice. She turned 30 again with 20 years experience. And right now she and her fiance are in England, so oh my God, have an awesome time. I've been watching the pictures on Facebook, and you guys are just having a blast. So
you know, if they were smart, they would go to the Conway Stewart auction while they're there, because
it's so sad.
Sadly, Conway Stewart, as some of you know, went into bankruptcy, and actually, I think tomorrow the auction starts. So
yeah, it looks like. In fact, I had a friend from England call me. What's up, guys? And try to explain the difference between going into receivership and administration over in the UK. And sometimes, like here, you can sort of like bankruptcy light. You can come out of it, but since they are selling off office supplies and
chairs,
desks
fans,
and chairs, it
computer.
looks like it's done.
Yeah,
which is really sad. They made some beautiful pens.
If you're into the Conway Stewart Churchill cigars, they have probably 10 lots of 10 Churchill cigars. So I don't know how they handle shipping, but I've looked at some of the lots, but yeah.
To get stuff for
Rod
us.
stock.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I'd like to get some stuff out of their shop. Man,
the pictures online. I'll send you a link, Hugh. But the pictures online, they have just like dozens and dozens of rod stock, and they have partially completed pens. I mean, it's crazy.
It's crazy. It's almost spooky, sort of like on some CSI or some ghost movie or something, where you walk in and everything's exactly like people left it. Like they just went up to go get a cup of coffee and never came back.
Wow.
Yeah, they went home from the day, and the next day it was.
And that was it.
Yeah.
So it's sad. I'm glad that our friend Mary Burke left before then. But it's sad when a pen company goes out of business.
Yeah, it is. Yep.
So start collecting those Conways now.
Yeah.
Some of them are really pretty.
They are, yeah. They're gorgeous, but.
I like the vintage ones.
There it is. So any other shout-outs this week?
Just to Hugh.
Hugh and Carol.
Hugh and Carol for
being a good sport.
Yep.
Thank you. We love you guys. We always say that. We mean it, and it's just such a treat. Thank you for this opportunity again. It's so much fun. It's just we see you at the shows. We get to socialize a little bit. We get to do this once in a while. Really special.
And nobody makes Brian laugh like you do.
We're doing the promo, and we couldn't stop laughing. He goes, "I got to hit the button already. We got to stop."
Well, you set the bar last year, right? So every time we've done a promo with a guest host, every time they make me laugh. They say something goofy, screwy during the promo, and then I get in, and I'm like, I lose it. So, and actually, if you listen to the promo from last night, if you listen really carefully, you can hear me laughing in the background.
I did. Yeah, I did. I heard it.
Oh.
That was funny.
So that's what it's all about, man.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Keeps us young.
It does.
We are grateful to have you, and it's always a blast, and you guys rock. And please give Carol a hug and tell her thank you for sparing you this evening and allowing you to escape cuddle time or movie time or whatever it was.
Yep, I'll do that. And she sends her love. She stopped by before we got started, and she said to say hi.
Awesome.
Big hugs to you guys.
Awesome. Is that a wrap for this evening?
Unless Hugh has a shout-out to anyone.
Again, my shout-out is to Garrett and Lindsay for our thanks and having you guys be able to come see us at all these shows. It's just huge of them to be able to let you out of their lives for these trips that you make. And
they don't know this.
Were you gone?
Oh, you were gone.
Well, yeah, we enjoyed meeting them when we came up to see the store and spend some time with you guys. So please tell them that we said hi. We send our love.
Yep.
Very nice.
All right.
Cool.
All right. So I guess that's it for this evening. Comments, suggestions, topics, use your pens. Write to us at Anderson Pens, 10 East, College Avenue, Suite 112A, Appleton, Wisconsin 54911.
Or catch us online. You can send us an email.
Email is brian@andersonpens.net.
Or lisa@andersonpens.net. You can also check us out on Twitter, Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, and all other social media as Anderson Pens.
The blog, of course, blog.andersonpens.net.
And the website is andersonpens.net.
To join our mailing list for advance notice of new products, upcoming sales, stuff on the website, whatever.
Cool stuff.
you mixed it. You messed up my thing here.
I know.
Thanks for listening to our podcast, everyone. We'll see you next week. Have a good evening.
Bye.
Bravo. Night, AP Chasters. Take care.